Hi, thanks for stopping by to view this video on private labeling. My name is Andy Slammons. Maggie Cuson and I are teaching a course beginning in January titled Alibaba to Amazon, How to Import from China to Sell on Amazon.com. What you'll be watching in a moment is the third session of a 5-session video series I've put together on private labeling. I've been selling on Amazon for 2 years, and I quickly realized I needed to add private labeling to the retail and wholesale sourcing I was already doing. I noticed products that I would go deep on would often start with great margins, but then end up with razor-thin margins as more sellers would jump on the listings and the race to the bottom began as repricers and sellers dropped their price to have control of the buy box. It was frustrating to watch so many very profitable products turn to break-even products. So I started to research private labeling and how I could control the listing and be the only seller, therefore having the buy box 100% of the time. I've enjoyed importing in the private label process so much that I've made it a foundation of my business. I'm averaging over $1,000 a day in sales since I went full-time May of 2014. In this past month, 8 out of my 10 best-selling products were my private label products. My top grossing private label product is bringing in over $10,000 a month. My buy cost on it is $15 and I net $10. These are all products I've manufactured in China and branded with my own logo. Private labeling allows a one-person operation like myself to scale to bigger numbers because of the ability to have the manufacturer ship the product direct to the Amazon warehouse or to a third-person service that can then label it and send it in. With private labeling, I don't use repricing software. I have the buy box 100% of the time. I control the prices of my items, not other sellers who come in and undercut. You will see in the coming weeks people posting that they have a world-class private label person teaching a course for them. My advice is don't fall for the hype. They may teach it, but in my experience, what you really need is someone who will walk with you through the entire process. World-class private label gurus may give you videos on how to fish, but Maggie and I promise to go fishing with you. You will learn how to fish with us, but we will not leave you when the teaching process is over. Maggie and I have created a private Facebook group titled Alibaba to Amazon. We are both committed to monitoring this group to help you with any questions or issues that will come up as you learn how to import and private label. We'll open up this group on January 1st to each member who has paid in full for the course. The Alibaba to Amazon Facebook group that will go along with this course already has over 20 files that will help you navigate the private label process. Files that include how to apply and get into Amazon's brand registry program, how to get the right customs bond, how to read a pro forma invoice, how to get an international shipping account, how to launch your product on Amazon, how to negotiate a better price, and getting your product discovered in Amazon, and many more. We're committed to helping each person who signs up for our course gain a solid foundation that will help you expand your business by importing and private labeling. Keep in mind, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a 2 to 3 year process to build a foundation for your business course. I want to repeat that again because I don't want anybody to misinterpret what this course is about. I just want to say it again. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is a 2 to 3 year process to build a foundation for your business. The reason we're not releasing it now is because Maggie and I both feel your time will be better spent shopping for retail flips that you can find online and in-store for Q4. You may see others promoting their private label course in the next couple of weeks or months. My advice is to wait until January when Q4 is over before you begin to add private labeling to your business. I have found that it generally takes about 3 to 4.5 months from the time you identify and contact the manufacturer to the point where your product lands in the Amazon warehouse. Our hope is that by beginning this course in January, you will have your first private label product for sale by the middle of May 2015. Please hear this, and you will not hear this from the slick $4,000 course being offered from other internet marketers, or from other internet marketers promoting world-class private label gurus. This, again, is not a course for every seller. We want you to know up front there's going to be a great deal of time and sacrifice involved in getting your first private label product imported and off the ground. You need to have a good amount of working capital to really make this work. Another course that's coming out with private labeling with a world-class private labeler states in their ebook that you only need possibly $50 to get started. And when I read that, I thought that's laughable. It's simply, completely not true. I suggest that you have a minimum of $4,000 to $5,000 at your disposal that you're ready to invest in getting your first branded product into the Amazon warehouse. We realize that may sound like a lot of capital. However, understand that you're bringing your own branded product and placing it in front of tens of millions of shoppers. This is the first era in history that you're able to do that process in the time span of 4 months and place it in front of that many customers. I've produced 5 jumpstart videos that will kick the course off. They are: number 1, how to private label and build your brand on Amazon. The second video covers the legal aspects of private labeling and navigating the importing process. The third video I'm showing you today, and it's titled Negotiating with Alibaba Suppliers and Understanding Chinese Negotiations. The fourth video is sourcing products on Amazon that can be imported from Alibaba and private labeled, and getting your product on the first, second, and third page of search. The videos are packed full of good content, and Maggie and I will be in the Alibaba to Amazon Facebook group on a daily basis, ready to help answer all questions that are posted. We will personally help you steer away from potentially bad products, as well as suggest good products that have PL potential. The price for the course, which includes the 5 videos and lifetime access to our Facebook group, is $497. We have set it at a higher price point because we only want sellers who are really committed to making this work as part of their business. Maggie and I will personally be with you every step of the way. We're taking signups now and early deposits of $99 to reserve your spot in the course and Facebook group. We are limiting this course and Facebook group to 200 people. Once that number is reached, registration will be closed. You can send your $99 to my personal PayPal account, andyslam@rocketmail.com. Please, when you send the payment, include a note with your full name and email address. We're in the process of setting up a website that you'll be able to submit payment to in the coming weeks and months. If you have any questions, please friend me on Facebook or send me a private message on Facebook. I hope you enjoy this session on negotiating with Alibaba suppliers and understanding Chinese negotiations. This session, we'll be talking about negotiating with Alibaba suppliers and understanding Chinese negotiations. Next session, we'll dive deeper into sourcing on Amazon to find products at good ranks that can be private labeled. This week, I want to focus on Alibaba because most sellers I talk to do not understand and are intimidated by the whole process. Remember, when you're on Alibaba, you only want to deal with gold suppliers who have been gold suppliers for at least 3 years. You also, when you're searching, you want to put a check mark in the on-site checkbox that says Assess Supplier. Make sure you're dealing with the actual manufacturer and not with a trading agent or a middleman. If you're dealing with a trading agent or a middleman, your costs will go up and you'll have less power to negotiate. When you begin to contact manufacturers, do not be afraid to ask them a lot of questions. You can also request references from previous clients. Make sure you research the factory. You can Google Earth the factory's address. You can look and see if the supplier has his own website and email domain. Does the supplier have a catalog? If they do, ask if the catalog could be mailed to you. If they don't have a physical catalog, ask them if they could email you one. Ask if they've appeared at trade shows. You want to ask lots of questions. Ask if you can get references from previous clients. Here's a standard letter that I send. I'm not going to show that today unless if you purchase the course, it's going to be in the Alibaba to Amazon Facebook group as one of the files. But I have a standard letter that I write to every single manufacturer that I contact on Alibaba, and it makes the process very easy, and it makes you look like a professional business that actually knows how to import goods from China. After I make the initial contact and I've received their quotes and their minimum order quantities, I then request 2 to 3 samples from each manufacturer. Generally, the manufacturers are going to charge you a $100 fee to send you samples. Plus, you're going to have to pay for shipping. They then will deduct that $100 fee from your first big order. This is a way for the supplier to weed out the real buyers from folks who are just trying to get free stuff. Never promise that you're going to buy a large quantity until you see the samples first. When you've fallen in love with your samples, always negotiate for the lowest possible minimum order quantity the supplier will offer. I want to say this again, because sometimes when I was searching, I would get excited because you'll see you can find so many products on Alibaba that you'll be able to flip on Amazon, and you'll want to jump the gun and order a big order without seeing the samples. And my advice is never ever place a big order until you have seen the sample. Every company on Alibaba understands the process of sending a sample first. There have been a number of products where I've been really excited about, and I knew my margins were going to be really good. I knew the ranks were going to be really low, and it was going to be selling awesome. But before I put the big order in, I got the sample, and sure enough, when the sample arrived, it was junk. And there's no way that I would want to sell that on Amazon. You'll never know that unless you order the samples first. So you don't want to end up ordering a large order, and like I would have with this product that I was going to order, and end up with $2,000 worth of junk that I can't even sell at a garage sale. So please always know you have to get samples first. And after you order the sample and you like it, you want to negotiate with the supplier the lowest possible minimum order quantity that you can. What I say to them is, look, I'm going to order 200 this time. I want to make sure that they're all good quality. And when I get the 200 and they're good quality and my customers like them, then I promise you I will order more. And that's kind of how the process works. I want to talk a little bit about understanding guanxi and saving face in Chinese negotiations, because you're going to find that when you're contacting the suppliers on Alibaba, you're really dealing with a totally different culture when it comes to negotiating. Guanxi literally means relation or relation connection. It's the most important aspect toward negotiating with suppliers on Alibaba that I found. It's fundamental to Chinese business. And we in the West, we tend to be very task-oriented. We ask very direct questions. How much does this cost? When is this going to ship? What do you think about this? And that's definitely, in my experience, that's not how the sales reps that I talk to, that's not how they operate. And so once you identify a supplier and a rep, you want to engage them on non-task level conversation. You want to ask them harmless questions to engage them. And when you're talking with your suppliers, act as if you're a big company who imports often. Don't let them know that this is your first time importing. Let me say that again. When you begin to talk with the suppliers, and again, when you're when you join the course and when you come in the Alibaba to Amazon Facebook group, I have files set up that are going to teach you the type of wording that you should use when you're talking with these manufacturers. You don't ever want to use singular terms like I or my. You want to use we and us. It will help you in negotiations. An example is like this. While I think this price is not bad, my superiors think it's still too expensive. Is there any way we can possibly lower the price this first cooperation? If so, I'm confident I can convince everyone to agree to the terms and we may proceed forward together. Do you see how that deflects the price demands and the ickiness of the negotiation process off of you? Face is preserved and you have more prestige and your guanxi improves and your language is cooperative and encouraging. I want to say those two words again. And I'm telling you, this will go a long way. You want your language to always be cooperative and encouraging. Here's another thing. Don't let your Chinese companies know that you're the boss. I use the title Senior Purchasing Manager. So whenever I have to negotiate, I always say, I have to bring this price to my boss. I always put my title Senior Purchasing Manager in Chinese at the bottom of all my email correspondence. Another thing is this, make sure you use a separate email address. You'll be barraged with emails from suppliers when you begin to reach out to them. Do not check the box on Alibaba that asks if you want Alibaba to find suppliers that are similar to what you're looking for. Your email box will be flooded with products that sometimes have nothing to do with yours. When you communicate with your suppliers, these are words and phrases you need to use. So definitely you want to incorporate all these phrases, all these words whenever you're talking with your suppliers there. Again, I want to say you never want them to know that you're the boss, because if you do that, you're going to lose negotiating power. You want to use words like working together, supporting each other, cooperation. This is a super important word to use. You want to use that in your very first email communication. Other words, relationships, loyalty, lasting partnerships, mutually favorable, beneficial to both of us, our good fortune, kindly. You get the idea. These are all words as you begin to negotiate with suppliers that you want to use. Using words like these can go a long way. Your sales rep is going to remember you. Your product is going to get fast-tracked over another customer's. I want to touch briefly on inspection services. When you're ready to place a large order, feel free to contact an inspection service. They'll go to the factory and they'll inspect the product before it's packed and shipped. Chinese companies are used to these type of services coming in and looking at the products before they ship. You'll have to pay 30% of the order total when you first place the order, and the remaining 70% right before the order ships. Next session, we'll dive deeper into finding products on Amazon. Your action step for this week is to begin to identify products on Amazon that could be imported and begin to contact potential Alibaba suppliers. I hope you've enjoyed this short Session 3 video on negotiating with Alibaba suppliers and understanding Chinese negotiations. Maggie and I look forward to helping you through this process, and we hope that you'll join us in this experience of private labeling. Hey, thanks for watching the video to the end. If you're interested more about the course, if you haven't already checked it out, you can go to our website at slamazonprivatelabel.com. Again, it's slamazonprivatelabel.com. You can read more about the course and why we are offering it. There's a pay button on there if you want to leave your $99 deposit. That secures your spot in the course. We're only accepting 200 members, and once that number is reached, the doors will be closed and we won't be accepting any more applicants. We will make a waiting list if anyone is interested in that for those once we reach 200. I do just want to make a disclaimer, and I know I said it at the beginning, but I just want to make sure that as you're reading this, that you really understand the dedication and the commitment that it's going to take to private label and to bring your product to the Amazon marketplace. Again, I know that there's some courses out there that have said from the beginning that you really only need $50 to get started in private labeling. And I think that's laughable. I don't think it's true. In my experience, and I've been in it knee deep in the last 6 or 7 months, I think that you're going to need at least $4,000 to $5,000 working capital to go through the process if you want to do it right. And so I say that because I don't want you joining this course unless you have the funds available and unless you're really committed. And it's not only having the money, but it's also having the desire that you want to make this part of your business. The real appeal of this course is going to be the community that we build with each other. We are going to really help each other launch each other's product. And so, I just ask that you consider the cost, of the dedication, the sacrifice that you're going to be willing to give to other sellers as well, because as we begin to launch our products and bring them to the marketplace, one of the ways that you're able to get your product selling really well is if other people buy it and if other people leave honest reviews about your product. And so yeah, definitely please think about that. Don't join the course because you think private labeling is the next big thing. Join it because you see the business model and you're dedicated to really wanting to make that work and wanting to make that part of your business. Because it will take sacrifice. It will be confusing at times. The importing process is difficult. But again, being part of a course like this, I think your learning curve is going to be dramatically shortened